My name's Joe Gilchrist. I started here in April 17th, 1978, with what happened to be my birthday. All we've tried to do since then is try to help people enjoy life and put some of the greatest music we think available in the country in front of people.
I'm Pat McCall, along with Joe here. I've been here for over 30 years. We got a little thing called good times, good music. That's our trademark, but you know what? That's an understatement for the tremendous contribution all these wonderful artists have given to the Flora-Bama, which has gone on to make us one of the best known honky-tonks in the entire world.
As you watch the rest of this, you'll see some of our great players that are reminiscing about the good old times, just like we do. Thank you for being part of this.
Hey everyone, I'm Jack Robertson, Big Earl. I'm sitting here with a Flora-Bama legend, the main man himself. He is the first guy, Ken Lambert, to play at the World Famous Flora-Bama. Ken, what year did you start here?
1978.
78.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
41 years.
That's quick math.
I know. I did it ahead of time a week ago, so I wouldn't forget. Man, let me ask you, I got so many questions to ask you. I know a lot of people have asked you probably the same stuff, but I haven't heard. When you started here, of course, well, first of all, how did you meet Joe Gilchrist?
That's a kind of a long story because I first came down here in like 70, maybe 71, I'm not sure exactly, and was playing at Seville Quarter. And Joe came into Seville Quarter, and we sort of became friends then. And later on, when he opened another club in Pensacola, I played for him there, and we got to be very good, really good friends. And so when he bought this place in 1978, I was actually playing in South Carolina, in Greenwood, South Carolina, a little place called the Wooden Door. And he drove up and I found this neat place on the beach. It's called the Flora-Bama. Do you want to come down and play? And I said, sounds like fun. And that started this ball rolling a long time ago.
Wow, so when you came in, all they had was the little package store, right? And the little, when you first started playing, how many people was there room for seating?
Well, actually, in the main room, sort of, it was almost like an enclosed deck, sort of. It had windows that let out, so there was no AC, so you let the breeze in. It was a real, honest-to-God beach bar.
Right.
And I don't know, it would see quite a few people. And when I remember the first day I played, and the windows was out, and there was a breeze, and nobody was in there, and Joe would hustle people that were trying to buy a six-pack up front and get them to come back and listen to this guy singing folk songs back in the back. And I remember some of the same people that came on that very day are still friends of mine today.
Boy, that's one thing about the Flora-Bama. I've been here for a while, nothing like you. And
I remember when you first come here, yeah.
It was a while back, like 24 years ago. Yeah. But so many people that I met then, still friends now. Most of my friends I met at the Flora-Bama.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, of course, I couldn't imagine being the first person here. And so Joe would go and he would bring them back to you and say, listen to this guy. And I guess people got used to that and they'd come back.
And it sort of just started, it multiplied on itself. It was amazing. And Joe I got to give him all the credit because I can say, yeah, I was so cool back then. I looked so hot back then and I played so well back then. But Joe hustled and he hustled and he hustled to get things right. And I'll have to admit, I was in it for fun. I didn't really care about anything else. The beach, wow. I mean, the ladies were nice, the music, and I made an agreement with Joe right off the bat. I said, I'll play for X amount and I don't pay for booze. And back then I was drinking, thank God that's over.
Yeah.
But back then that's all I was in it for just the fun. So Joe would bring in these folks, hook them like this, bring them back there, sit them down. I'd play my butt off, and they came back, and they kept coming back, and they brought their friends. And one thing led to the other, and in a matter of a few weeks, we were full every night.
Wow.
I was the only player for the first year, so it was crazy.
How many nights a week did you work that?
Back then, I played 5 nights a week. It was Tuesday through Saturday.
Well, you're talking about you drinking back then.
You might call it that.
Yeah, I've heard some of them legendary stories about you. I was speaking to your buddy Jay Hawkins, I guess,
Yeah.
was second or third one to play, right around time.
Joe was the second.
Yeah, yeah. And Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jay,
Joe was the first.
Joe was the first, that's right. So is this true about shooting the hat off a wall?
Well, what made you think that would be a lie?
Yeah, I know. I asked Jay about it. He said, yeah, Ken was sitting out front, and I had my hat hanging right back here on the deer antlers right beside me. Ken had listened to me all of a sudden. I guess he didn't like his song. He pulled out his pistol and shot my damn hat off the wall.
He was lying to his teeth.
That's what he said. And I said, what'd you do? He said, I looked at him, told him, don't do it again.
He's lying. I waited till he stepped off the stage.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't. I'm very safe with my gun.
Oh, God. Yeah.
He was off the stage and walking actually toward us. There was a few of us in the bar. Joe was there. And what was funny to me, and my sweet wife Cindy, that was one of her first introductions to the Flora-Bama.
Uh-huh.
She was with me at the time.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but it was one of those deals where it's kind of like you can't resist that.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he hung the hat up there,
Oh, yeah.
it was an invitation. And so, yeah.
Oh, man. Well, Jay, yeah, I think I like the story better, him sitting right up there, and we're going to go with that one right there.
Go
You
for
can
it.
edit out the real part. I mean, keep the legend going. I've got a couple of questions, well, actually a few that I want to get to right here. So we already know when you met Joe. First of all, you know how I feel about you singing, I always have. I helped you record that little CD a long time
Yeah,
ago.
that was fun.
I listened to that probably 50 times. You've got one of the greatest country voices here, true country artist, which in this day and age you don't hardly hear anymore. But your writing is just spectacular. And matter of fact, and I didn't know this, but I was at your house years ago and happened to look up on the wall and saw the group Alabama had a record on there, and they recorded one of your songs.
They did.
Wow.
It was on the Touch album, and called Long Way to Daytona, and it was co-written with Dean Dillon and Buddy Cannon.
Wow.
And we had a good time writing that song. But Buddy and I went up to Kentucky, found us a motel room, and we wrote a bunch of songs on this long weekend a long time ago.
Wow.
And,
Well,
that was one that.
If you had to guess, it's going to be a tough one. How many songs do you think you've written over your lifetime, if you had to guess?
I couldn't really give you an accurate answer because a lot of them I've sort of forgotten. I wish I could remember some of them, but they in the hundreds. I don't know how many. Yeah.
We had a bunch of them. You've already answered a bunch of the stuff here I got here.
That didn't take long.
No way, I'm not done yet. I got a bunch. We hadn't got to the good stuff. Now, when you first started working here, where did you live at the time? Did you live here on the beach?
No, when I first started working here, yeah, you could kind of say I lived on the beach. I lived kind of in a van. I didn't find that there was any good reason really to leave the Flora-Bama. And so I sort of stayed, and that's where Mr. Frank comes into the picture, because Mr. Frank would wake me up in the morning, because I would sleep on the beach a lot, sometimes in the van, sometimes not. And he would wake me up in the morning with that big old 44 that he had.
And that was our Flora-Bama night watchman.
Yes, it
and
was,
that's the
Mr.
one.
Frank.
The Songwriter Festival's named after him.
He was my second daddy, you might say.
Wow.
I got some great stories about Mr. Frank. He was wonderful.
I bet you, yeah, I heard that a lot of times he would come out and tell all you guys, boy, it's time to put your guns up and go home. Be
Sort
fired
of
off down
something
the beach.
along those lines. We used to shoot off the back of the old Flora-Bama, a deck that was out there, and it's hard to even remember how that was set up, but I had a 308 assault type rifle, like an M14, I believe it was. And it was fun to shoot out in the water and watch the sparks fly. You know, it was just amazing. I remember Mr. Frank was saying, y'all stop that now.
And you guys were totally sober doing that back then, weren't you?
We would never think of drinking and shooting.
No, you wouldn't.
Absolutely not.
You know the old River House, we got the River House across the street now. And Joe had it right there where Phoenix 10 is. I remember it there when I came to work here. And I remember when I first started here, all the musicians would go over there to River House, late at night, and
Wonderful time.
yeah, I was always afraid to go over there.
Well, no.
Yeah, I heard a lot of, can you tell us anything went on over there? Was it all sitting around kumbaya stuff?
I can't tell you anything that went on over there.
I didn't think so. I can't get anyone to tell me anything on camera.
Let's put it this way, there were some great songs written over there and a lot of co-writing going on over there along with over the other kind of co-stuff that was.
Yeah. Boy, you know one thing about it, yeah, and then of course they moved it across the street and put it on pilings on Old River. And a lot of great songs have been written over there.
Yes,
I was never over there except a couple of times. I think I was here the time, I believe Darryl Roberts went over and sewed someone's head up because they busted her head. They held the lamp down and he got it.
Yeah, he did. No anesthesia. I wasn't there at the time, but I heard about it. And Darryl was a sweetheart because he's a wonderful nurse. I mean, he can fix anything.
Oh yeah.
So, I think that's not the only time that he helped patch people up that got bumped into, you might say, harshly.
It seemed like here at the Bama, a lot of people always looked out for one another. They have since I've been here, just, you know, take care of one another. It is like a big family.
It's a family.
When I first came to work here, Ken, it was like I came to work for Donna Slater. She hired me to play guitar a long time ago, and my plan was to work here a couple of weeks and move on. But after the first week, I thought, man, I like it.
You found a family.
I like it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Fun. It's hard to beat a Flora-Bama crowd. I mean, you play other places and then you play here and you get spoiled. I mean, people are like, they come here to listen, they come here to clap, they'll let you know if you're good or bad. I found that out.
They will.
And now back when you started, it's quite a bit more rowdier than it is now.
I got to say this. One of the things that I loved about this place, and I'll admit that I would get upset if people were making too much noise when I was trying to play. But generally speaking, after I like generally it seemed like the latter part, maybe the second set or the third set would be the best because you get warmed up, you get going good. And I've had this room before. I say this room, it was like this, but only downstairs in the old Flora-Bama, where you would think it would be rowdy, but you could be doing some really sweet, either original songs or just good old country or folk country, whatever, and you could literally hear a pin drop in this room. It would be so quiet and so good. Now, yes, there were rowdy times too, and that's what you tried to, you got that pumped up and you got it going good. That's a good-hearted woman stuff, you know, and that's all well and good. But by the same token, within a few minutes, you could be turned around and it'd be totally quiet. And the few real a-holes that they got weeded out so quick.
Oh yeah.
You know, they found the ones that come in to cause any kind of disruption, they did not last long, and they didn't want to come back because it's not welcome. That turned into not just a family of the people that worked here, but it was family, the Flora-Bama family. I mean, it was the people that came, that lived locally primarily, and it was just a wonderful group of human beings, and I love them all, and it was just great.
I've seen you perform before when you'd have some characters that I wouldn't want to mess with, just bushwhackered up, and they're just zoned in on you. So you're right, I had to agree with that. You got a way of capturing, and they do that to a lot of the entertainers around here. I've seen them do it with Jay. Well, everybody here, that's what makes the Flora-Bama such a wonderful place to play, in my opinion. Yeah, but when they're ready to party, you better be ready to party with them.
Absolutely.
Once they get that spot. So many people have told me that, yeah, we came back year after year to see Ken or Jay. Y'all are the first two to start, but over and over about Ken Lambert. And we came here for Ken when I first started out, and that was Ken. And I always wondered why you didn't go up to Joe and say, did Joe ever come up to you and say, you want to buy into this place or anything? Huh?
No, he didn't never do that. But
and at the time, you probably didn't care, did you?
I wouldn't have done it. And I've often asked myself, why didn't I walk up to Joe and say, Joe, I'm kind of the reason most of these people are here. Why not let's work out some kind of deal?
Yeah.
If I had done that, there might have been something. But I think Joe is way too smart to have ever asked me to be a partner. You know.
Yeah.
Because the one thing I've got to, again, I can't give enough credit to Joe GILCHRIST because of all the partying that we had, all the drinking, carousing, whatever else might have been there. Yeah. You know. Joe was, believe it or not, kept a sober outlook. Even when he was tipsy, he was soberly looking ahead to what his vision of what the Flora-Bama was going to be. And I've got to hand it to him. He picked the right partners.
Oh yeah.
For this business. That's in Pat McClellan, for instance, is so good, man.
Awesome,
Pat's
yeah.
just Pat's Pat. I love him. And again, I would not have been a great partner. I just didn't care about the money. I mean, even in Nashville, I couldn't handle the sort of the politics of Nashville either. I wanted to be right there.
Yeah. Well, that's where you should. That's where you should be. And I hope.
You know what Chris told me a long time ago? I was roommates with Chris Christopherson for a while in Nashville, and he said, I'm glad I was never good enough to play at the Holiday Inn. And I never quite understood what he meant until later.
Right.
But if he'd been good enough to play at the Holiday Inn, that's where he'd be, at the Holiday Inn.
You're right. I didn't know. That's another. I didn't know yet that he was your roommate for a while.
Yeah, we lived together about a year before he became superstar.
Wow. You think he'd know you who you are now?
No, I doubt that very seriously.
I bet he would.
Now, we didn't exactly part friends because I had some issues with other personal issues about some stuff that he had. Anyway,
Yeah.
nobody's business, but he's a wonderful songwriter,
Oh,
great
yeah.
guy.
I guess so.
And,
Well, do you have any stories you'd like to say about any other musicians or anything that you've seen in the past, or some of your favorite ones, anything like
well, I
that?
got to bring the third guy to show up here, and that's Jimmy Lewis. Absolute phenomenon. I mean, Jimmy Lewis was just so. I mean, you could sit here and watch. As one reporter for some publication said, he came in and in one set he heard the best country music he's ever heard and the worst country music he's ever heard, all from the same artist. But Jimmy Lewis was just incredible. He's such a guy, such a talent. And so, and all the ones that come through here, I used to get upset with Joe a little bit because he would get somebody off the street that could barely move.
Yeah.
But he had a guitar and say, "Can I come and play at Flora-Bama?" And Joe would set him up and get him in, and the guy couldn't play. And I'd say, but Joe, give him a chance. Always give these guys a chance.
Boy, I've seen that.
You've seen it.
I've seen it so many times. Yeah. Oh, hey, listen, I should have been fired 140 times by now. So I've got a lot of chances.
This is like
I got a
government
job
work,
here.
man. You can't get fired from Flora-Bama.
I know. You know, I should have never been hired. But I'm so proud of them for them letting me have a job here. Donna hiring me, and the rest of them not firing me.
You do a great job, and Big Earl just becomes special. You're a legend in your own time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You know, maybe if I'm here 40 years. But here's my thing. You know, I told my wife, I said, there's no way that I'm going to be 50 years old standing on stage at Flora-Bama singing music. And I just turned 58. And I love it. And I hope to be here till I'm 158 on a walker going poontang on the poontang.
I got 20 years on you, Bubba.
I know you do. Man, I tell you what, I haven't met one musician down here that doesn't respect everything about your writing, your singing, the kind of guy you are. And right now you're doing some ministry work.
Yep.
And aren't you going to prisons and stuff?
Yep.
And
I go to jails and prisons, actually all over the country, primarily Angola prison right now in Louisiana, and DCI prison, which is sort of a sister prison to Angola. It's not far from Angola. Become friends with a lot of the inmates now in both prisons, and we do every Christmas go into Angola, hand out socks on death row and minister to those guys. I've actually got friends now on death row in Angola that have been there for many years through the appeal process and whatnot, that I've seen make decisions for Christ in their life. That makes a change not just in their life, but any other inmates they come in contact with, they can make a change in their life, and their family on the outside, it makes a change in their life. It touches a lot of people when inmates make decisions that affect so many people, and it's my life now. I love it.
did you ever see yourself doing that when you were a 30-year-old man?
No, I would have joked in the back. I've been in jail. I know what it feels like.
Yeah.
The idea of going back into jail, no.
Does it appeal to you much?
No. I go into the Foley jail every Monday night here in Foley and minister to those guys and gals, and thinking about going into Gulf Shores jail. Someone has contacted me, and I think I'll be doing that shortly. So.
That's a wonderful thing you're doing, Ken. Yeah, that's a wonderful thing you're doing. I mean, that's awesome.
Well, it's my wife and I both have Sunshine Ministries, and frankly, that's all that I want to do anymore. That's my life. That's
what you know. Well, you're going to still play here, though.
I'll do special things.
And you're going to play today. I know you don't play here as much as you used to, because you're doing your ministry and stuff. But when you're here, boy, man, what a treat it is.
Well, I appreciate that so much.
But anyway, I tell you, thanks to Joe for hiring you. Thanks for Pat for working here, and John and Cam for coming on and taking this place to another level.
Amen.
We've got 4 good owners, and the Flora-Bama is going to keep going and going, and I hope you're here about another 41 years. And I love you, Ken.
Love you
and
back.
Thank you.
Okay, God bless.
Hey guys, if you want to see when Ken Lambert's playing here again, just go to our website, flora-bama.com, and click on musician schedule, and it'll pull right up.
A friend of mine in Angola prison inspired this little song. He was doing life without parole. Been there for almost 50 years when I talked to him. Still there. Once I was crazy, clean out of control. There was nothing that I wouldn't do. I live for the moment, and I'd never grow old. Now does this sound a little like you? You're thinking that you got it all figured out. Got the world by the tail in your mind, there's no doubt. Are you fooling yourself? The ones you hold dear. You think you're so smart. What are you doing here? What are you doing here in this sad, lonely place? How did it all come to this? Think of all those bad choices that you should not have made. And the home and the family that you miss. You're so sick and tired of waking up sick and tired. You're done with the mess and the muck and the mire. If you are, there's some good news that I have for you. And it's free, just believe. That's all you gotta do. You know God has a plan for you and your life. It's more than you dreamed it could be. Surrender to Him, repent and believe. You'll know how it feels to be free. So sick and tired of waking up sick and tired. You're done with the mess, the muck and the mire. God has a plan. Sing amazing grace, the sweet sound